For our launch, at this particular point in the story, what do you believe Paul's psychological state is? And how did you come to this realization? And then I want us to talk about how does the hospital show the truth about war? So this is just a discussion verbally between you and I right now. We're not going to have to write it out or anything. Right now, Paul is being stretched thin, meaning that he's being torn in all kinds of directions because he became injured as well. And he wanted to be sent home because he wanted to check on his mother and his sister. However, he was torn because he wanted to make sure that his friends, his comrades, were okay. So en route to because they're being shipped to the hospital, he's put in a different cabin or train than Crop was, and he asked to be placed right by him because he promised that he promised Crop that he wouldn't leave him. Well, what he had to do was act like he had a fever, and they put him out of the train or off of the train or what cargo, whatever it was. And so that is how he ended up in the hospital right next to Crop. Well, when he finds out the state that Crop is in mentally, psychologically, he feels concerned. He's like, oh my goodness, I can't leave him. Please, don't. I want you to know that life is worth living for. And so at that particular time, though, Paul is sent home for a week or two so he could get better. But from there, Paul is sent to the front line again. So it's a lot going on. And so when it says, how does the hospital show the truth about war? You have to understand that Peter is injured really, really badly in his lungs. And there is a room called the dying room that everyone thinks that once you go there, you're not returning because the doctors have begun to experiment on on some of the soldiers, trying to see what works, what doesn't work. And so when Peter goes there, he's like, yes, I'll be back, guys, I'll be back. But in actuality, inside, he's feeling like he won't be back, but he does return the next day. But eventually he does die. Okay. So then when Paul has to go to surgery, he's frightened. He's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go because he's thinking he's going to the dying room and no one returns from there. So he's really, really frantic, and psychologically he doesn't know what to do, but then he returns as well. So it's a lot going on. But Paul says there are hundreds of thousands of men, like a stream of blood that never ends. And this is a truth about war. He's saying there are so many people here that are hurt, injured, dying. He's like, it's just so many. It's thousands of men. You can't get it out of your mind. These are things that you can't unsee. And so basically, the hospital scene is showing the destruction that's going on due to the war. The war not only had physical complications and effects on the soldiers, but it also had psychological effects. And a lot of times, physically, injuries can heal, wounds can heal, or you could get away with, having a physical injury. But mentally, sometimes that's long lasting, or it takes a while for you to heal, so to speak, from an injury, meaning mentally. Psychologically, it's kind of hard for you to get over things that you see or experiences that you've gone through. Take, for instance, me. When my mom passed, which was about 4 years ago, psychologically, I could not grasp what was going on because she raised me and it was just she and I. So it took a really, really long time for me to not get over it, because I never will, but just to say, okay, she's not here, but she's still in my heart. So that's something that you have to kind of come to grips with and say, okay, I can be better. Okay.